So as I was saying, if those of you are joining now, I don't see too much that's going on. To be honest, I don't see too much has developed since yesterday, and I think one of you guys mentioned that as well, right? A little bit boring. I would agree, but that's what trading is sometimes, right? You will last couple weeks there was a lot more setups, and this week thus far I'm not seeing too much. Okay, that's when you want to be patient when it comes to trading, right? You're gonna be executing the trade when there's opportunities, and you're also going to be holding on to your capital when there's not too much. Exactly, slow this morning. Pound dollar, yeah, I'll go over that. So let's get started. So let's look at dollar index, okay? So let's start with dollar index, and we'll take a look what I see. I still see it the same from weekly. I still see that we could potentially just move down more. Okay, so I don't see the strength in dollar yet. This is still what I'm seeing today. That this is just a potential correction that the price is forming. So impulse correction, impulse, and whenever this finish, we potentially see the next down move to the previous low. That is what I want to see as well for a potential buy. Once price break this low, and see what will happen in this area if price is going to start reversing. But short term wise, I see this happening, and for potential short-term dollar weakness, this is still what I'm seeing in terms of price action. So not much has changed since the weekly outlook. I still see it the same. Okay, so let's jump into a few other dollar pairs. Aussie dollar we talked about yesterday. When price is still in this correction, I'm still not going to be interested. As I was saying yesterday, structurally it can evolve. It can evolve into a parallel channel. Right now it looks like it's a wedge, but it can easily just kind of break down and then start going up again and structurally just evolving. And your short trade may be short-lived, okay, and it's not gonna get too much risk reward. So that's why when I didn't see price continue and I start seeing this consolidation start forming, then I know that there's potentially a deeper, longer correction that could be forming. So I don't want to jump in again when price is in this consolidation now. We'll talk about I don't want to be in the trade when it's consolidating. You want to be in the trade when it's impulsing. So I don't see much in Aussie dollar. Same thing with Kiwi dollar. I know everyone's still looking at Kiwi dollar. Okay, and truth is it's still correcting. You can see it's still correcting the structure. Some of you guys may have gotten some short, I'm not sure. I saw some posts or I saw someone message me as well, and the truth is I personally think it's still in somewhat corrective nature that I won't be want to be in there. I want to wait for a little bit more impulsive kind of momentum coming into the market so that you know that this correction is potentially finished and then jump into the next available trade. Otherwise, this correction that we're looking at here could just go on forever, right? So if you're stuck in the short, what the price end up will happening is just going to move up and down, and potentially take you on your stop and then still drop afterwards, right? So that's always a possibility. And I talked about this yesterday on weekly outlook is that understanding that what the structure is doing, right? If it is continue going upwards and there's nothing wrong with structurally, we're just evolving the structure to be a longer parallel channel. And at the end of the day, once the correction is finished, it will still drop. Okay, so remember that, right, guys? Just because right now we're seeing this kind of price action, impulse correction, and then correction within correction, that this has to come down. No, it doesn't. Okay, this can come down and then start bouncing up, or it just start going up from there. There's a very few possibilities, right? So don't get blind by the obvious one. Yeah, yes, we're seeing this very obviously, but you gotta see it from an overall perspective. Can the price make one more corrective turn? Yeah, certainly it can, right? Don't doubt the market, right? It can do anything it wants to, even though it's shaping up to be a potential sell. But potentially understand that the price isn't finished developing, isn't finished correcting. Okay, so that's what I see on Kiwi dollar. I would only be interested, like I said yesterday, is that I want to wait for the clear impulse, clear lower time frame correction for the sell. And then other than that, I'm happy to stay out of this trade. So that's Kiwi dollar. Morning, everyone. Nice to see you guys. Hi, everyone. So euro dollar, someone asked about euro dollar. Again, yesterday I mentioned that when prices begin to be in this kind of a deeper, kind of a parallel channel now, not too interested in it anymore. I'm kind of looking at this as potentially just developing into a deeper structure. So I'm not too interested in the sell yet. Okay. To me, it looks like it's trying to form an inverse head and shoulder, and this looks like it can continue up more. And not interested in the buy. I'm only going to be interested in the sell once this correction is going to show me that it's over. For now, it looks like it's not going to. It's going to continue correcting for itself. So I'm not too interested until a little bit more bearish price action, potentially move up to the top, forming some sort of reversal, and then slowly going down. Other than that, happy to just wait to see what the price is doing. This is where a little bit more patience comes in, guys. When the price was in this area, when we see the price like this in a couple of weeks ago, I was looking for the sell, right? Impulse correction, impulse, and this impulsive move did not continue to the low. So that is a sign for the market telling me that we might be in a deeper correction now, and I don't want to be stuck into a consolidation or correction phrase. Now I want to be in the impulsive phrase, right? When this was the correction, I thought this is all the correction that it's going to make for this move, and I can comfortably get into the impulsive move. But now that we're pretty much expanding into this parallel channel, the more ideal case is just to be a little bit more patient, waiting to see what we'll do in the upcoming days or week. So let's move on. Pound dollar, same idea, right? Same idea. Nothing has changed from weekly outlook. Still in this overall channel. And again, same idea as euro dollar is that it can be just correcting this in this area for a while, right? And yesterday I was mentioning there could be some potential sell if it's going to build up some correction here. But to me, this is a little bit messy. I'm not really seeing too much here, and we're approaching to the lows here already once again. So I'm not going to jump into the sell. I just want to see what the price will do. Is it going to continue out of this correction now? So lower time frame correction here would be a first potential sell possibility. And then, like I said yesterday as well, wait for the push out, and the correction. This one will be the more safer trade that we understand that this correction is totally over, and potentially this higher time frame correction is also over. So impulse correction, impulse out of that correction. Okay, but until then, uh, price is still in this consolidation area, then I'm not going to easily jump into it because it could just move up and down, like euro dollar, like Aussie dollar, like Kiwi dollar. Okay, so this is why I'm not too interested in the dollar pairs. I think most of you guys, or some of you guys, are looking at the few of the dollar pair. I understand that, right? But for me, just waiting for a little bit more development because I have seen these kind of market conditions where it can just be trapped in this area for a longer period. And the trades that we enter is not that they can't bank some money, but it's just going to be in the consolidation area. It's not going too far, and you're likely to be limited by your potential profit, and you're easier to get stop out or to get a break even trade. So let's move on. Let's move on to dollar CAD. Let's look at dollar CAD really quick. I like dollar CAD. And I mentioned this yesterday that potentially we had this price breakout, right? Remember yesterday when the price was over here, I said, let's see if price can break out. So we got this breakout, which is good, but it's not really forming anything yet. So I want to see what the structure will do in here. Is it going to form something a little bit more structurally? Maybe something like this, maybe some sort of bigger structure that shows you that this is the continuation now. We could potentially get the next push up from dollar CAD. And looking at overall structure, if we break out here and if we get a continuation correction here, I do see this potentially push up to the previous high. Okay, but until they see that, still gonna be on the sideline. This correction has to be looking very sharp or very bullish continuation for me to consider a trade here now. Okay, and what I'm likely to do is something like this. Then I want to see a structure develop here and potentially for the buy. That's pretty much the only dollar one that actually look a little bit better to me compared to other dollars I'm looking at. Okay, so that will be a maybe for me. And someone mentioned about dollar Chinese yuan, right? I remember I seeing the post. If we zoom out a little bit, I talked about this one I think last week that potentially prices at this bottom, and we're getting a little bit more bullish activity here on the lower time frame. Price is getting squeezed into this kind of a descending channel or parallel or falling wedge, and hitting that double bottom, and then price seems like on the lower time frame is reversing. We get this potential inverse head and shoulder popping up, and a correction here would be ideal, but it's right on the edge here, so correction has to be a little bit more in depth. Okay, something that looks like it's going to continue for this move. So impulse correction, and we'll impulse out of this to the previous top. And do think this can be a good risk reward here for that temporarily short term buy. That's dollar and Chinese yuan, and that's about it. Dollar Mexican peso. Someone asked about this yesterday, right? Same thing. We're approaching this double bottom. I like this. Okay, prices almost popped up, right? You see this bullish push up, but again, the confirmation would be a correction, right? There's no correction to push up, and it moved down once again. So you know that this correction isn't finished. So let the price squeeze a little bit more. And I mentioned this. Let the price continue drop to the previous bottom, and this is where that momentum will come in and see the continuation. Okay, so this one was be pretty good as well. I'll put it as a potential maybe. Looking to see what the price will do at this bottom, and then wait for that first impulse will be the first ideal buy in this case. And again, see what the price will do at the previous top or the previous top from here. So that is all the dollar pair, guys. Not much has moved. Again, I mentioned these key dollar ones that I mentioned yesterday. Seems like not much has developed in that. So be a patient, be a little bit more patient on them. Okay. And let's jump into a few other ones. I'll go quickly today. Not much is on the watch today. Not much is again needing a little bit more development, and that's fine, guys. Okay. So let's go to Aussie Swiss. Pound yen, yeah, I'll go over in this order. You see my watch list. So let's talk about Aussie Swiss. I'm still very liking Aussie Swiss. Mentioned this yesterday how I see Aussie Swiss. I see this overall kind of move that we're in this higher time frame correction. And finally, we broke the previous low, and then we did not continue lower. And then instead, we had this lower time frame impulse up. So everything to me is good, showing me a potential buy and inverse head and shoulder here as well on the lower time frame. And we finally see a potential right shoulder, or you want to call this the flag, but continuation here is showing us here, and impulse, correction, impulse, and then see a correction here. I like what the price is doing now. I like this can be the right shoulder to continue move upwards. So I will be looking for something here if I see some bullish development. I like the risk reward in this one. Happy to enter at the very low of the current price action. We're in the lows of this overall period of consolidation, right? So looking for a buy here to the top. I do think the risk reward is there. So I'll be looking for something like this in the upcoming days or so, or in the upcoming London session or New York session if the price presents itself. Let's look at a few yen pairs. Nothing has changed since yesterday. Again, I'll jump through them relatively quickly. I'm not seeing too much. I could potentially see the structure developing. Okay, structure again, it's ever developing, right? So you gotta adapt to what the market is telling you. Can this be just a bigger correction now to build up? Yeah, certainly can. So I don't want to be jumping into a period consolidation once again. This hasn't break the previous low, so it can be just a little bit more corrective as well. Okay, once we break the low, and then I do see the down move a little bit more promising to the previous low of the higher time frame. But until then, watch out for a little bit more consolidation in this area. Not much on CAD yen. Euro yen, same thing. Same thing that it's going to be developing in this overall structure. I mentioned this as well last time that since price did not continue out of this, this was the correction I thought for this move. And then we did break the previous low. So same idea, price is just making a bigger kind of a deeper consolidation or correction for this down move. And we can be stuck in here for a little bit longer before the continuation down. Pound yen, same idea again, same idea, nothing changes. Still see this as that deeper correction now. We're getting squeezed now, which is a little bit better than the other ones, but same thing as Aussie dollar I mentioned, right? Even if they start dropping down here, and then we could start bouncing up. And again, structurally, it evolves into something like this. Instead of being a potential wedge, it becomes a channel, right? But that is how price move. That is how why we were when it's in this period consolidation now. You don't want to be jumping in. Okay, you want to wait for a clear kind of finish of this correction, and then the next down move will resume, right? And you might miss some potential pips, but you want to wait for that confirmation. That's going to save you a lot of money. Currently, right now, I'm not seeing much of a sell. Okay, I'm not seeing much at all. You might be seeing this as a potential sell or something like that. But like I said, it could just drop down, break the flow, and then continue upwards, just correcting itself a little bit longer and wider. But nothing changes on the higher time frame. Nothing changes that this is the impulse, this is correction, impulse, correction, impulse, right? Head and shoulder pattern. It used to be a head and shoulder like this. Now it evolves into the head and shoulder like this. Okay? So that's why be a little bit more patient, guys. I'm not too interested in any of these yen pairs, even Kiwi yen. Kiwi yen, I think some of you guys are looking for the sell. I do see some of the posts in Telegram. While the sell is okay, it's okay, meaning that it's valid within its right. But same idea again, guys. We broke out here, but we didn't continue lower, right? This becomes potentially a larger structure now. You see how I just evolved the lines, and there's nothing wrong here. Once again, price can come down here and then pop to the upside again, hitting the top of the over structure, and then still drop like this, right? So this sell can be the sell to continue, but you also have to understand what it will do at the previous bottom or the bottom of this potential channel that it can be making. Okay, so calculate that. If you're happy, if you're okay to take these trades, that's in your plan to take the trade, then go ahead, right? And make sure you have good risk reward if you're going to be entering something like this, because you're pretty close to previous lows, okay? And you're not 100% sure that this is going to confirm to go down. Is this the impulse and this is just a correction to continue lower, or are we going to develop a little bit something bigger? Okay, so that's why if I'm not 100% sure, or if I'm not seeing the price to giving me very clear kind of where it's going, then happy to stay out. Okay, it's not that this cannot continue downwards. It certainly can. It's just that I want to wait for a little bit more development, a little bit more confirmation from the market. Even if it goes down, I'm happy to miss the trade. If it's going to continue lower, it breaks out the low and then form me a correction here, then I might consider to get into this one. Okay, so that's Kiwi yen. Let's go through a couple euro pairs. Yeah, good morning. It was like this yesterday, exactly. So not much has happening, right? So Euro Aussie, still seeing this same thing as Aussie Swiss, right? Because they're very correlated. I still see this as a potential sell. Explained this yesterday in the weekly outlook. Double top here, and price did not continue forward. Instead, we had this bearish move down, and there was a few correction to get in as well. Okay, and now that price dropped down a lot, and if you zoom out a little bit, potentially we might be forming a structure here, which is good. You want the price to continue moving to the top, see what we will do from the top, and then breaking down like this, and that will be a continuation correction for this move, and getting the next bearish move down. But I'm not seeing the correction finish here yet. It looks like it can just develop a little bit more. So be on the sideline for this one, let it develop a little bit more, and then looking for a completion of this structure here. So making this is the impulse, correction, impulse. So that's Euro Aussie. Euro Pound, I mentioned this one yesterday as well. Just see if the price will break out and then forming a continuation here. And this can be just a short-term trade I see to the top. Okay, and because ultimately I still see this as the impulse, this is a correctional structure. Once this correction is finished, we could potentially get this next down move. Euro Pound, Euro Kiwi, still looking pretty good for continuation. Recall that I got out of Euro Kiwi last week on Friday because I know that likely we're going to be forming something here, a bigger correction or larger consolidation, and I don't want to get trapped in between, right? So what I'm seeing price is doing here now is potentially we're seeing a little bit of bullish move, right? This is a bullish push up, and then potentially this is a bullish continuation. Are we going to likely to continue higher? Yeah, I do think so. I do like to see that way because now that the structure could be evolving into just a larger, deeper structure, potentially a continuation structure for this bearish move, and we could potentially look for the next down move. Um, but like I said, short term wise, you could potentially get this buy, and if it breaks the previous high, and see what it will do, then it's going to continue higher. I see some of you guys are looking at this for a potential buy, and I do agree that every time when the price is at the top, when I'm looking for sell, okay, there's certainly that every time when price get to the bottom, someone's looking for the buy, right? So there's value here for the buy, in my opinion. If you see this as a potential reversal price action, the price is going to push up one more time. And if that does, I'm going to be looking for the sell once again from the top, the fourth time, okay? So waiting to see what the price will do. Very excited to see what the price will do because this is a crucial area now, right? If it's going to continue, let it continue and look for a correction to continue. If it's going to reverse, let it reverse. I'm not interested in the buy, but if it comes up to the top again, right, this will be my fourth time selling for this bearish move. I'm happy to enter that once again because the higher time frame is very clear what it's going to do. So that's Euro Kiwi, guys. So still looking pretty decent. Waiting for a little bit more development and then see what the price will bring to us. So let's continue to Kiwi CAD. So some of you guys remember yesterday you guys were looking at Kiwi CAD for the sell, right? And I mentioned if that's in your plan, stick to that, right? And I was looking for a buy because of what the price is telling me overall from the latest kind of price action, okay? And I mentioned this yesterday again is that when you see ascending channel structure, it doesn't always have to reverse, okay? And that's key is that you'll see a correction and the correction either is going to reverse or is it going to continue, right? And because of the higher time frame, we're potentially seeing this as a very clear kind of continuation pattern on a higher time frame, that this impulse up followed by any correction can just be a continuation upwards. All right, so looks like so far it is, okay, instead of dropping down from this potential ascending channel within the ascending channel, price pop to the upside, so a little bit bullish pop, and I like this consolidation here. It looks like it's forming a potential continuation to go up. And this will confirm kind of my bias on the continuation of Kiwi strength, continuation of Euro Kiwi, and Kiwi Swiss as well, which is the pair I'm also looking at from a higher time frame perspective. Very similar like Aussie Swiss, right? This is Aussie Swiss in that price action, similar kind of parallel channel. Kiwi Swiss, very similar kind of price action, okay? And you have this impulse, correction, larger right shoulder as well, okay? So I like these kind of price action. There's a lot of confluences stacking up together and potentially looking for the breakout here. This could be the first buy. This would be the more safer buy for a long term. So that's Kiwi Swiss. Jumping to a few last ones. Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie looks good. Okay, this is one of the one that I would pay attention. I even set an alert here just for a potential sell. Looking at high time frame again, I like that overall double top. It broke this top as well. So top of the overall structure, and we see price in this ascending channel. Within this ascending channel, there's another lower time frame ascending channel, and then that's the first impulse. And we're finally getting a little bit of structure, just like Euro Aussie. Pound Aussie looks pretty good as well. It's finally getting a little bit of structure here, which is good. And it's not too clear what this correction is going to do. It is looking like a descending channel, which is usually a reversal. But again, if we can be this impulse correction and we can continue down more. So just waiting to see what this correction will do. I'll be looking for a sell if it's going to break out, and then if it's not, if it's going to continue up to the top, looking for a M style pattern from the top, and I'll be looking for a reversal from the top. Okay, so Pound Aussie looking pretty good. And that is pretty much it, guys. Pound Kiwi, I don't see too much. I think Euro Kiwi looks a lot better. So I'll pick Euro Kiwi any day over Pound Kiwi. Pound Aussie, Euro Aussie all look pretty good, and Aussie Swiss. Okay, so Aussie pairs, Kiwi pairs, they look pretty good for bullish on them. Okay, this is why I'm not too interested in the sells here. By the way, on Aussie dollar or Kiwi dollar, I'm not seeing too much of that dollar strength in them. All right. So, any questions on these guys before I quickly finish off? Pretty much the other three markets. I'm not seeing too much in the other markets. I'm not seeing too many setups. So, if there's no questions on any of the currency pairs, I'll quickly go through gold. I'll go through a few indices, and I'll finish with a couple of cryptos. That is all I'm looking at today. So, it'll be a short session today because not much has changed, not much has moved. And this is where, again, patient comes in, guys. I don't want to be jumping into Kiwi dollar trade when it's in this consolidation. You're likely to be, the trade is so erratic, right? So every time when you check your phone or you check your charts, uh, the amount moves, right? That can create some sort of emotional drama. Okay, wait for that first breakout, wait for the correction, which is be much safer, and you understand that you have that impulse momentum in the market, right? So until it does that, until it forms a correction here, I'm not too interested for the sell. All right. So looks like no question on currency pairs. So let's finish. Let's go through the rest quickly. So gold, again, yesterday we're talking about gold, right? And I mentioned about uh, potential. Yes, you might get a lower time frame sell if we can get breakout and then followed by a correction. Okay, I'm not seeing too much at this point forward. Okay, potentially it could just be running up again, right, making a deeper consolidation. So not much has changed. Okay, so this can all change during the London session upcoming or the New York session. Okay, but so far, not much has moved in the market to me. Okay, so I'm not seeing too much in this here on gold. Let's jump into a few indices. Again, I keep repeating, but really not much has happened, right? Nasdaq was looking at this. I talk about this as potential descending channel or just a correction that may continue down. You see how prices break there, and then potentially tagging some people to enter the sell, and then quickly pop up. Okay, so waiting for a little bit more confirmation. If it's going to break down, there's no correction to continue, right? So it's that popular upside, and then it may continue upwards, and whoever entered this trade may get tagged out for the loss. So, not too clear what's going to happen here. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what the price will do in upcoming days or so. Is it going to continue up this, making it potential reversal correction now? So impulse correction and then reversal impulse to the top, or is it going to hit the top and then continue downwards and just evolving the structure into more of a flat structure like this? That's a possibility as well. S&P 500, very similar. It break down again, and then no correction to continue. Instead, it can just trickle up now and see what the price would do when it hit this previous top. Because again, I don't think this correction is over yet. This can just be expanding structure, and then price can continue to the top and looking for a reversal if that's going to happen. If not, then not too interesting in the buy. All right. So that's indices. Not much equity that has been moved. We mentioned these ones yesterday, so not much has changed. And I'll just finish up with crypto. Okay, crypto watch list. Just a few one that may look interesting for the upcoming day. So Cardano looks like it's potentially forming a parallel kind of a channel here on the lower time frame. So impulse, correction, impulse, and then larger correction here. So waiting to see what the price will do. Are we going to get the next push up? That would be a decent risk reward trade. And do you see the price action to get that bullish continuation? Just need to wait a little bit longer. Bitcoin, very similar. Nothing has much changed. Waiting to see what it will do in this area. Is it going to form a larger correctional structure to push up? This was the previous buy that was more valid to me because we broke out this higher time frame structure, impulse, correction, impulse, right? And the first correction out of the higher time frame correction is usually going to give you that next impulse. So waiting to see what the price will do here a little bit while, a little bit, wait for a little bit longer, and kind of develop a little bit deeper structure to continue. Ethereum, I was looking at this potentially. There's a potential buy setup, potential entry if you can, if the price can bullish push up, right? Instead, price did not. You see this start dropping, and you see this is similar what we see on Nasdaq and S&P, right? Bearish push down, and then nothing continue. This potentially could be just a reversal to continue up now. Okay, so still keeping an eye on this one. Link, this I took a loss on this one. I mentioned this in the Telegram. Was looking, I can quickly go over this one, that we had this bullish impulse from out of this correction, out of this higher time frame correction. So impulse, correction, impulse. And then once we broke out this correction, there was a lower time frame correction that I thought was very decent to get in. So, and then enter at this one, put my stop just below this low, and price taking me out just a little bit, and that's fine because I'm still seeing a potential bullish move on this. Okay, if we're going to develop a larger structure here now, something like this, just like something like this, right? You're seeing similar kind of price action, then I would still be looking for a buy. I would still think the buy is very good to the top, okay, to the top of here. The higher time frame gives me that bias, okay, impulse, correction, looking for the next impulse up. Okay, it may not go in one move, it won't go in one setting. This is pretty impulsive, but if it form a correction here, push up, correction, push up, correction, push up, that is more likely also, right? So that's fine, taking a loss here, and then looking to see if it's going to give me a little bit more structure, then I'm looking for the next buy. Okay, so that is it, guys. That is all the crypto I'm looking at. So again, not too much, right? Not too much has happened. So I'm not seeing much at all, and that's why there's not too much to talk about. Most of the ones I mentioned have already been discussed on the weekly outlook, and that's why really just quickly go over them. My favorite ones in terms of pairs is I like Aussie Swiss. I like um, I like Euro Aussie to develop something here. I like Euro Kiwi to continue out here. I do like Pound Aussie as well for a potential sell. And that's about it. And then a few of the Kiwi pairs also look pretty promising for continuations. Okay. So any question, guys? Any questions or any pairs that you want me to take a look? Again, I'm happy to go over a few that you guys are looking at, and then I'll end the stream because not too much is going on. So again, take a little bit time to think about, when the market in this condition, what are you planning to do, right? You should have a plan. You want to be conservative, right? You want to be a little bit more precautious because as a consistent trader, you want to be able to consistently make money in any market condition, right? So last few couple weeks, there's a lot more setups. This week, maybe there's not as many. So, you got to be able to control your emotion and make sure to hold on to your capital when there's no higher probability setup, right? Of course, there's setups every single day, but are they good setups or are they just okay setups? And you want to be a little bit more tight on your entries. Okay, so that's what I see on so far. I went over them already actually, but I'll quickly go over them again. Okay, I'll quickly go over those three that you just type in there. Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie mentioned that higher time frame wise, potentially double top here. Price had this impulse, correction impulse, but did not continue upwards. And on a lower time frame, it was clear to me that we had this reverse impulse and potentially forming a continuation correction here. So I'll be patiently waiting to see what it will do in this area and then looking for a potential sell down to the low. That's Euro Aussie. Euro Kiwi. Patiently waiting for what the price will do in this area. Is it going to be a continuation correction to go out? Then waiting for lower time frame correction to get back into the sell. Alternatively, some of you guys are seeing for the buy. then I do see the buy is also valid if this is going to develop into a reversal structure, reversal correction. So wait for the price to go up to the top, and I will be looking for the sell the fourth time from the top. That's Europe Kiwi and Pound Aussie, higher time frame. Looking at this, you're potentially finding a top, and then you look at lower time frame, you have a little bit more confluence. You have this ascending channel within the larger ascending channel. First impulse, potentially first continuation correction will form here, and then looking for continuations. Higher time frame one looks pretty clear to me. If we zoom out here, that we had this overall impulse correction impulse, and potentially this is a larger continuation for this impulse here. Okay, so you're just getting in at the top of this correction. So even if you just hit the previous low, there's going to be lots of risk reward in this one. There's about almost 700 pips in this, right? So even if you don't catch the first 100 pips or so, there's very good decent risk reward down to just the previous low here. Okay, so that's why I like Pound Aussie, Euro Kiwi, Euro Aussie, and Aussie Swiss, and a few of the other Kiwi pair as well, right? Kiwi Swiss mentioned this is the impulse. This can be a continuation correction to continue higher, and on the higher time frame, it looks very likely so, right? An inverse head and shoulder pattern that we're potentially developing here. And Kiwi CAD, overall liking what the price is doing here on the lower time frame. Just see if it's going to continue upwards. Okay. So that's the three pairs you mentioned. And anything else, guys? Anything else before I end the stream? I mentioned this in Telegram. I was gonna say, looking forward to next week. I think you guys don't know there's the election for U.S. and usually my experience, at least for the 4 years ago when there was the U.S. election, I remember I waited, or not waited, more like I was more on the sideline for the market because I knew. Uh, I don't want to talk. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but I knew for a new president, especially Trump, it can create some volatility whether he gets elected or not. So I knew that it's better to be on the sideline, to be a little bit more patient, to see what the market will do. And if you really just scroll back 4 years ago, guys, if you guys have time to backtest yourself, is that scroll back 4 years ago and see what happened on election day. See if there's volatility, see if there's a lot of movement. Yeah, there usually is. But after it calms down, right? After, the way how I put it is that after the retail traders gets eaten up by the spread, by the market, once the market is calmed down, it will resume its direction. And when those are the times when you're, as a consistent or experienced trader, you want to capitalize on once the market settles down. Okay, that's my experience on it. So I certainly will at least be there. When during that time happens, right? I will give you guys my updates on it and what we can to capitalize on the market once the volatility settles down. And if there's going to be price action to continue, then there's going to be price action to continue, right? We want to get back into the impulsive phase and waiting for the market to settle down. Okay. Hi Jojo, does DXY follow S&P 500? No, not necessarily. It doesn't have to. I know you guys might see it as inverse correlated. Okay, I don't see it certainly that way. Doesn't mean when the dollar is dropping, the S&P is going up. Okay, similar vice versa. Doesn't mean when the dollar is going up that the S&P has to go down. Okay, it's probably some of you guys may look at it correlation, whatever, but it doesn't have to. Okay, it goes by individually, right? That's why I'm saying it's the same idea as you're looking at you look at $1 pair, let's say euro dollar, and then you look at another dollar pair. They don't have to necessarily follow each other, right? So it doesn't have to be. The currency pair is in its respective right. It has its own price movement, so it doesn't have to follow everything. Just like a lot of close similar pair like Swiss yen, Euro yen, they're very high correlated, right? Aussie Swiss, Euro Aussie, inverse correlated, right? Same idea, Kiwi CAD, right? And then Euro Kiwi CAD. So not Kiwi CAD, sorry. CAD Swiss, Euro CAD, right? Same idea. So it doesn't have to, even though there's probably some correlation chart that's saying there's a percentage or a number that it's correlated, but even that chart is not going to give you 100, right? Because it knows that it's not 100% inverse or correlated. Okay. Hope that answers that question. So that's it, guys. If there's no other questions, happy to end the stream here. Happy to answer any questions in the upcoming day or so. If there's anything you guys are looking at, message me in Telegram. I'll take a look. And I should do another update, either a London session or New York session once there's a little bit more development this week. Okay, guys? So feel free to message me on Telegram. I'll happy to answer anything you guys are looking at. And I'll chat with you guys next time. All right? So thank you very much, and enjoy yourself, enjoy your day, and chat with you guys next time. See ya.